Electrocast.
There's a change happening in the way we live, the way we work, the way we spend our money and make our decisions. We are evolving to be more conscious in our actions in a way that serves the world and makes it a better place. Welcome to the Ethical Evolution. The Ethical Evolution podcast is brought to you by Ethical Change Agency. I'm Bindi, I'm the founder, and my mission is to help ethical entrepreneurs and holistic healers to find their voice through spiritual coaching and podcasting. I'm honoured to bring you the stories of those who create change through healing, kindness, innovation, purpose, and spirit. Understanding that to create collective change, we need to be the change. It all begins with us. Maggie Luna is the host of the Chasing Spirituality podcast, based in Alabama, where she explores all aspects of what spirituality can be. She also had her own spiritual awakening, which led to the creation of a podcast and her line of conscious products she now offers. It's no surprise that Maggie and I were so aligned and had so much in common. I hope you enjoy hearing Maggie's story. Welcome, Maggie, to the Ethical Evolution.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Now, you're joining us all the way from Alabama. If people have not heard of you, can you tell us who you are and what you do?
Sure, yeah. So my name is Maggie. I go by Maggie Luna on all of my social media, and I am the host of a podcast called Chasing Spirituality. I also branched this podcast into more of a brand now, where I have a line of intentional products that I create myself. And I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I have 2 pugs, so I'm an animal lover. And I really just want my presence to be healing and really inviting for everyone out there. And that's what I try to share with everyone.
Amazing. And, you know, there's absolute alignment on pretty much everything that you and I do, which is we've bumped into each other. So I think that's incredible for one. So tell me, how did you start out chasing spirituality? Where did the idea come from?
Okay. Yeah. So you want the long version?
Oh, give me the abridged.
Okay. So really it started with my own healing journey. I think everybody has trauma, wounds, and just conditioning that shapes us. And a lot of times we realize that that's not in our best interest anymore. And it's not in alignment with who we are, who we really want to be. And when I started my own healing process, I realized that there's a lot of people out there who have similar situations to mine, and I wanted to help them. So when I created the podcast, I did it to be able to reach others and help them shed limiting beliefs and, have breakthroughs and find their purpose and who they truly are. And I also did it for myself because one of my biggest blocks was believing in myself and having confidence in who I am. And I know that sometimes speaking my truth is hard for me because I fear rejection and abandonment from my past. And so I knew I just had to do it. And it was something that I knew would push me into my purpose and it would help me grow.
And again, a very, very similar story for me. However, I think mine probably took a few podcasts before we got to this one. I used my first podcast almost like therapy. I used, and there's been many other podcasters I've had on this show of varying degrees, and they've all said the same thing, that podcasting really is a great form of therapy, not only for yourself but others, because you're sharing your story and you're making people understand that they're not alone and you're not either. And I think it's such a powerful medium. And I think I got through 4 podcasts to get to this one, where we're really impacting the world and reaching out even further. So, and you talk about intentional products there, which I think is another great alignment with being ethical. Can you tell me what being ethical means to you?
Sure, yeah. So for me, ethical is all about yourself and how you feel and what you know to be true for you. And when it comes to defining your own ethics, you really have to go within and ask yourself, does this align with who I want to be? Does this align with my morals and my values? And I think we live in a society where we're always looking outside of ourselves. We're always looking for someone else to tell us how to feel or what to do or who to be or what to think. And so for me and my journey and what I would, advise anyone to do who's really wanting to have ethical change and evolve is ask yourself, not others, ask yourself what aligns with you, what aligns with your values, and go with that. Because at the end of the day, you have to answer to yourself, no one else.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, here we go again. One of the things that, I say as part of this podcast is, the change begins with us. It all starts within us. So that's exactly what you're saying there. So I think we've come full circle there. That's incredible.
Yeah. Great minds think alike.
Yeah. Now, Maggie, you and I might be worlds apart at the moment, but I'm also a spiritual coach. As well as doing the podcast. What do you get people who come to you and they just fully don't understand what spirituality is?
Yeah, I wouldn't say they come to me for coaching.
No, but when you share what you do.
Yeah, a lot of people, I feel, I get 2 different kinds of people. Mm-hmm. I get people who think spirituality is just like religion. And then I get people who think spirituality is completely over the top and woo-woo and almost to the point where maybe I'm worshiping other gods and deities. And, some spiritual practices may involve that kind of thing. But I feel what I try to tell people if they have questions, if they're not sure, they have misconceptions, is spirituality is individual. It's all, every person you talk to who considers themselves spiritual, they're going to believe in different things. They're going to align with different things. And that's the beauty of it, is you get to choose what feels right to you, what resonates with you and your soul. And from there, you get to grow it and develop it and share it with others.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it really is what you make it, isn't it? There's no written rules around it or how it has to look and feel and be. It's completely what resonates with you and what helps you grow within your soul. And yeah, I get the same kind of thing where people are like, well, isn't that religion? Like, what are you doing? Like, and they really tiptoe around it because they're not sure. But I've had a lot of guests on this show that are spiritually minded or actually have a spiritually minded podcast as well. And they have the same kind of struggles. And I guess by us having these conversations, we can help raise that awareness on it's not kooky. It might be a little bit woo-woo, but, it actually helps us grow as a human. Would you agree?
Absolutely, yeah. And I like to tell people that might have religion and spirituality confused is religion, you have a specific set of rules, and those are your rules. Those are your principles. That's what you believe. In spirituality, you get to just choose from religion, from morals, from values, from woo-woo concepts, and you get to develop your own religion, if that's what you still want to call it. And I think that it definitely makes us more empowered to make our own decisions and to make our own choices instead of just following what's normal. And I think that you're right. It will definitely help push the collective to evolve the more that they understand that they have this choice just like we do.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit more about the Chasing Spirituality podcast. Like, what kind of stuff are you covering in there?
Okay, yeah. So I am on season 2. My season 1 was a lot of kind of like you mentioned earlier, is a lot of my own therapy. I was didn't have a lot of guests in season 1. I only actually had one guest, and I covered a lot of trauma, limiting beliefs, self-love, self-empowerment, and things like that, which I still really care about and will probably have that throughout season 2 as well. But season 2, I'm trying to interview more people and have new insights and perspectives, and also have maybe a little bit more woo-woo things in there, like mediumship. There will be a medium episode coming out, Reiki healing, different energy healing. I interviewed a sound healer who does, she actually does reincarnation, like it's a soul journey is what she calls it.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And she was a really great guest for me. I'll probably try to have her back because I've had sessions with her and I've actually gotten to experience what it's like now. So things that people can actually use and apply, things they can try. And I'm really open to anything, even if I don't resonate with it and I don't believe maybe it doesn't align with my purpose. I still would like to discuss it on the podcast to show other people what's out there because they may resonate with it.
Yeah, and that's the thing I love about it. You learn so much, don't you? Even the things that you might not have heard of or that you don't resonate with. On this show in particular, I've had live medium readings, psychic readings. We've done live EFT tapping. We've done it all, and it's been so cool. And we've had people back, second, third time even, because they just have so much to share. And I think the more curious we get about this stuff, the more we can again grow and learn and share. I absolutely love it, and I've had sound healers as well, and past life regression and you name it. It's just so fun. I love it.
I do too. Yeah, it's definitely great to meet, you get to meet such wonderful people that are part of your community and they're very like-minded, even if what they believe is different. It's still, that like-mindedness of wanting change and wanting to evolve and wanting to expand. And I love that part of it. I love getting to learn new things. I'm definitely a learner, and I love to just absorb as much information as I can. And if I don't understand something, then I'm going to keep trying and I'm going to keep going until I understand it better. And I feel like it definitely helps me grow as a person, because then the more information that I have, the larger my perspective is, and I can help different people.
So with the evolution of your Chasing Spirituality brand, what kind of change has it made to you?
It has really caused me to be more mindful, and it also has awakened some of my gifts, I would say. When I first started making products like that, I was really making them for myself. And I started, thinking, well, if I'd make these for myself, I could maybe find a way to make them for other people. And so I started playing with the idea of what that would look like. And that's when I came up with my intention oil. Anybody can use an oil. You can put it on any part of your body. I can put anything in it to make it smell any different kind of way. And I've always also been drawn to herbs and flowers and crystals and things of that nature. So those things are, to me, very energetic. They hold certain vibrational frequencies. And so I decided that when I made these products, I could pair different herbs and flowers and crystals and really focus on the intention and the energy that I want these products to have and share them with everyone else. And it gives it also empowers them to take that ability into their own hands, because then they can take the intention that I made and be intentional with it. And it just really caused me to want to empower others to do this themselves and not just depend on someone else. That also caused me to be more mindful, because I have to be mindful when I make these products, and I have to be intentional. And it makes you think, well, when am I not being intentional? When am I not being mindful? I can do this outside of just creating these products. And it just kind of snapped me back into that kind of mindset.
It does so much to your mindset, doesn't it? Like, even in the decisions that you make, I know for me, everything I do has an ethical lens on it now. Like, it's like, well, I can't do those kind of things anymore because that's not ethical, So it's like, I really have to think about, decisions based on values now, that I probably didn't before I had this brand. So it really does change your mindset. And I think that then has that ripple effect, which we can then share through this medium, which I just absolutely love.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. I know it definitely makes you have a lot more self-awareness when you're doing something that is, for the greater good of yourself and others. So when you're not really being your best self, or you're not really in alignment with that, it's almost like a little buzzer starts going off like, hey, what are you doing?
Totally. It just gets you in check, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Maggie, if people want to find out more about the podcast and the products that you have, where can they go?
I have a website. It's chasingspirituality.com. That has information about my podcast and about my products. That's where I list all of my products, which is the oils, bath bombs, things of that nature. And my podcast is available on all platforms. So you can, Apple, Spotify, but you can also go to that website to read more about me and about the podcast.
Awesome. And you're on the socials as well, aren't you?
I am. I'm on Instagram. It's chasing.spirituality. And I am on TikTok and Facebook. It's Chasing Spirituality.
Oh, she's on the TikTok. Look out.
Yes, I love the TikTok.
I'll have to go check it out. Now, Maggie, I got my final big question for you. What's the change you'd like to see in the world, and how can we bring it to life?
I would really love to see people healing from what has caused them pain and grief and trauma, because we all have wounds, and a lot of times we try to brush them off and we try to say, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal. Someone's gone through worse. But trauma is trauma. Pain is pain. Yours doesn't equate to mine. Mine doesn't equate to someone else's. And a lot of times we just run from it, or we hide from it, and we don't accept it. And that just causes more turmoil. So when we're able to confront it and accept it and stop playing the victim or stop denying it, that's when we can really heal and change and shift out of it.
Absolutely. And again, you've echoed probably about 1 million conversations I've had on this show right there. It's one of those things, we hold so much trauma and pain that we're not even aware of right from when we were a child. And it's not until we actually stop and listen to ourselves and actually become self-aware that stuff starts to come up, and we can actually deal with it and get it out and find better ways to deal with it.
Exactly. Yeah. I tell people that, your trauma is your responsibility. It's not anyone else's. It's no one else's to fix or heal, and no one is going to fix you or heal you, because, I've been there. I've had plenty of people that have tried and they've loved me, but it wasn't enough because I didn't love me. And until you learn to do that, nothing will ever be enough.
Exactly. And, it's a shame it takes us to where, in our 20s, 30s, 40s even, or even older, till we realise that that's the path we need to take. And that's where we create true change, is when we can, sit in that and actually deal with it. That's where we become a whole new person.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I know that's whenever I started changing is because I decided to stop running from it.
Yes.
And I faced it, and I was like, I don't like who I am, and the only person that can change that is me.
Oh, Maggie, you've been an absolute joy. Thank you so much for joining us on the Ethical Evolution.
Thank you. It's been an honor.
Thanks for listening to the Ethical Evolution podcast. If you're ready to be the change and would love to work with me on finding your voice through spiritual coaching or creating your own podcast with impact, visit ethicalchangeagency.com.
Miles, are you ready to record our promo for Season 2 of the Wanna Bet podcast?
David, have you ever seen a grown man naked?
Miles, we're not here to quote lines from Airplane. We're here to tell people that Season 2 starts August 18th.
But I like Airplane.
I know you do, but Wanna Bet is a sports betting podcast. Each week we bet $1,000 on the NFL teams and games that we love.
Well, that sounds like fun.
It is fun. And last year you picked over 60% of your games correctly.
How'd you do?
We're not talking about that. We are telling people that they can find us every Friday. So no more movie quotes.
Roger.
Electricast.
Miles, are you ready to record our promo for Season 2 of the Wanna Bet podcast?
David, have you ever seen a grown man naked?
Miles, we're not here to quote lines from Airplane. We're here to tell people that Season 2 starts August 18th.
But I like Airplane.
I know you do, but Wanna Bet is a sports betting podcast. Each week we bet $1,000 on the NFL teams and games that we love.
Well, that sounds like fun.
It is fun. And last year you picked over 60% of your games correctly.
How'd you do?
We're not talking about that. We are telling people that they can find us every Friday. So no more movie quotes.
Roger.
Electricast.